It's Brian Preston, the money guy.
But let's get to the one. This is the one I was most excited about. Let's talk about number 2, short-sighted gifts. Bo, just because the media tells you something's a great idea doesn't mean it really is. And by the way, they're not even trying anymore. I think they're at the point that they're making fun of us. They're like, oh my gosh, those knucklehead consumers out there, they fell for it last year. Let's kick it up a notch. And we have some examples to show you what we're talking about. Look at these short-sighted gifts. First one. Guys,
I remember when this commercial came out, you came in livid.
I do get mad about this.
Upset. You called the content team to order. This was what? 2 years ago? A year ago? I can't remember when this came out.
They roll this thing out about every year because it must work. But for me, it's a big eye roll because you have this couple that's obviously loaded. I mean, when you look at this house that they have, and it comes out and he's like, I got the most special gift for you. And he comes out and he's like, I bought you an SUV and I bought myself this pickup truck. And then the laugh part is supposed to be, she wants his truck. But what really ought to be laughable is these knuckleheads buying vehicles and stuff without talking to their loved ones. So this is the vehicle purchase.
Yep.
But GMC didn't stop here. They're like I said, they're not even trying anymore. They are daring you to pay attention to these bad decision making because this year, GMC came out, and look at this. They start off with this funny commercial where the husband buys this dog that's running through the snow, which we're going to get to. Buying animals, that's a long-term commitment.
Yeah.
And then the husband, the wife surprises him with this gift of a brand new truck, so much so that he's draped over the hood right now, basically kissing the emblem of GMC because they want to remind you, your consumption is what really brings happiness. This is a disaster.
So you may be thinking, well, that seems outlandish, and that just doesn't seem accurate. You think about what would happen if I were to do this, if I were to surprise my spouse. Well, there was a great clip that we want to show you that we think is a more realistic representation of what would actually happen if you followed some of these car manufacturers' holiday gift-giving advice.
Let's jump in.
So this Christmas, get her something extraordinary during the Lexus December to Remember sales event.
Nathan, you didn't.
With flexible financing and 0% APR, there's
Zero,
never
don't we
been a
wish.
better time to buy or lease a new Lexus.
Merry Christmas, baby.
Are you kidding me, Nathan? Did you seriously buy a car without asking me?
Well, because for Christmas...
This is a major purchase.
Right, but it was a December to remember.
It's a Lexus. We don't have the money for this, Nathan.
I think that's much more realistic. That's the way that it would go, right? Like that's.
Thank you, Saturday Night Live. I often think about the celebrities when they show up in the content meeting ideas, and I'm like, this commercial had been waiting to be made because it is a joke. Like I said, these ad agencies, these companies that are selling us these overpriced things that are bad financially for you, they don't think you're paying attention. Nope. So good on you, Saturday Night Live, for calling reality. But let's jump into each one of these. Let's talk about how we can actually avoid making these mistakes.
Well, I think some of the mistakes you need to think about is when it comes to making large purchases, when it comes to doing that, it ought to be something you decide together as a family. You should not jump into anything that has a long-term commitment without really consulting the other parties that are involved. So obviously, buying a vehicle is not something you should go at alone. We mentioned a second ago, buying animals is not something you should go at alone. Unfortunately, a very sad statistic is we know that a lot of animal shelters are actually overrun following the holiday season because people give animals as gifts. It's neat and fun and exciting when they're puppies or kittens, but puppies and kittens turn into big animals and big dogs with a lot of commitments that go along with that. Don't force that upon someone unless you've actually had a conversation with them around what it is they're actually looking for.
Yeah, you want to take away my Christmas spirit. Tell me that there's a bunch of dogs in the animal shelter because just people are irresponsible. That's just, what type of human are you? Let's talk about how do you avoid this. First thing, don't give expensive gifts, especially expensive gifts with ongoing costs. I mean, going back to 4 Christmases. Now, look, it's 2008. satellite dishes were an awesome thing. We weren't streaming, but it is one of those things I thought it was interesting. If you give somebody something that has an ongoing monthly subscription, did you really set them up? I mean, that didn't play out very well with Clark Griswold and the whole jelly collection. So don't do anything that has ongoing prices.
Or what if you get somebody a vehicle, but then you don't think about the cost of the insurance for that vehicle and the maintenance and the fuel and the fill in the blank on the different things that go into that. When you give someone a gift like that, you're not necessarily giving them a true gift. You're giving them an obligation for something they have to carry through into the future.
And, and time commitments are like, that's where the animals comes in. And then I thought this was something, I won't say the name of which content member shared because in case their family watches this, but they were talking about their grandmother every year opens up a brand new tablet, like an iPad or whatever, Android. And the grandmother is like, oh, thank you. And then goes and
she puts that right next to all the other tablets
next to the 6 others she's received. So just make sure that the gifts actually reflect what the needs are for your family members, because short-sighted gifts, they can just not represent what you wanted to get out of the holiday season.